Hello dear students, welcome to the Odyssey of Virtual Learning. Today we will learn a new concept which is hire purchase. Dear students, every business needs capital that we had discussed in our last class, capital to procure fixed assets or and to finance the day-to-day operations of the business. The fixed assets are purchased by the business or the business can lease it for a long period of time. And there is one more method also available with the business in which the business house can use an asset, but the ownership of the good will not pass to the business immediately. The payment of the full amount of the asset will be spread over longer period of time, and for that certain charges are to be paid. So let us read what is this. This system is nothing but the system of hire purchase. So basically, hire purchase is an external source of finance for a business which spreads out payments over a long period of time in return for using an asset by paying certain charges. That means the business house will procure an asset, will use it without having ownership on that asset. And for using the asset, what the business house has to do, or the purchaser or the buyer has to do, is he has to pay certain down payments, and remaining amount of the purchase value will be spread over a longer period of time and will be paid by the buyer. After paying the last charge or last installment, the ownership of the goods or the asset passes to the buyer. Hire purchase is a method of buying goods through making installment payments over a period of time. Here, the ownership of the goods purchased under hire purchase is not officially transferred to the buyer until all required payments are made by the user of assets. We can say that hire purchase is an agreement between two parties. One is the purchaser, who is otherwise known as the hire purchaser or the hirer, and the seller, who is otherwise known as the hire vendor, who owns the good or asset, and where the hire purchaser agrees upon to pay the seller the sum owed for purchasing the goods in installments, okay, which is spread over a period of time. So the two parties who are involved in the hire purchase are hire vendor, who is the intending seller, and the hire purchaser or the hirer, who is the intending purchaser or the intending buyer. Let us discuss the features of hire purchase. There is an agreement called hire purchase agreement in written between the two parties, okay, involved in the purchase transaction. The possession of the good is delivered to the purchaser at the time of entering into the contract. That means the time when the hirer and the vendor, the hire vendor enters into the contract, the asset is delivered to the buyer. But the ownership of the goods does not pass to the buyer until he pays the last installment. Each installment is treated as hire charges, and in case of any default made by the buyer in any installment, the seller is entitled to take away the goods from the buyer. That means if the buyer is not able to pay any installment, then seller is entitled to take the goods back from the buyer. The hire purchaser is also free to return the goods without being required to pay any further installment falling due after return. That means if the hire purchaser is also not liking the goods after using it for some time, then he can also return it, provided certain conditions are mentioned in the hire purchase agreement. Hirer is entitled to avail the benefit of depreciation on the assets hired, and in the same way, the seller can also claim the interest on the borrowed funds to acquire asset for tax purposes. Here, let me tell you one thing. Many a times the seller may not also have fund to procure that asset, and he might have taken the money from a financer. So for the purpose of buying the asset, or if he had taken money from any financer, he's paying some interest on that. Then for that amount of interest, okay, to acquire that asset, he can claim the deductions from the taxations. A hire purchase transaction basically has two elements that are governed by the Indian Contract Act 1872 and Sales of Good Act 1930. So let us read that in details. First or one aspect of the hire purchase is your bailment, which is governed by the Indian Contract Act 1872. And the aspect which is coming under Sales of Good Act is nothing but your sales. The hirer who becomes the purchaser is a bailee until he pays the full price of the goods. The purchase agreement comes to an end when the buyer pays his final installment to the owner of the goods. That means now, after paying the final installment to the owner of the goods, he becomes the owner. Prior to that, he was simply using the good without being the actual owner. Now, he is only the owner. He is just using the asset. He is not the owner. He is simply using the asset. After paying the last installment, he becomes the owner. And so for that, it is important that there has to be an agreement. So we can say that an agreement in written form is made between hire vendor and the buyer. Okay. Hire purchase, buyer in the hire purchase involves a definite procedure to be followed. For this, an agreement called hire purchase agreement is made in written between these two parties. So let us just see what are these elements which are there in the agreement. These are the important clauses or elements which are present in hire purchase agreement. First one is nature of the agreement. It states the nature, the terms, the commencement of the agreement. That means what is the nature of the contract, what are the terms and conditions, when the contract has commenced or when the agreement is coming into uh, effect, everything will be mentioned. Then equipment delivery. In the agreement, the place and time of delivery and the hirer's liability to bear the delivery charges will also be mentioned. Then comes location. The agreement will contain the place where the equipment shall be kept during the period of hire. Then comes charges. Hire charges are to be paid by the hirer over an agreed period of time. Okay. He may also be charged for any defaults he makes. Then is your insurance. The hirer has to obtain insurance on the equipment at his cost because he would be using the asset. So insurance cost has to be borne by him and hand over the insurance policy to the hire vendor. Repairs. The repair of the hired asset has to be undertaken by the hirer because he is using the asset, so he would be bearing the cost of repair. Alteration. The hirer is not entitled to make any alterations, additions, and so on to the equipment which is hired without prior consent of the hire vendor. Risk. The risk of loss and damage is to be borne by the hirer. Then, termination. The agreement also states the list of events or acts of hirer that would constitute a default and would lead to termination of agreement. That means what are the situations, what are the events that if occur will lead to termination of the agreement. The vendor will take away the good and the hirer cannot use the good anymore. Fees and registration. The hirer has to comply with the relevant laws, registration, and bear all the requisite fees. That means whatever is required under the relevant laws are to be followed by the hirer. And for that, for registration and all the requisite fees are to be borne by him only. The agreement also contains the schedule of equipment forming subject matter of the agreement, schedule of hire charges, indemnity clauses, and stamp duty. With this, I conclude today's class. We'll again meet in my next class. Thank you, dear students. Wait for my next video.